It's time to introduce our keynote presentation, Serving Your Fans, the Trent Reznor case study. Since completing his earlier major label contract, musician Trent Reznor has been experimenting with a variety of new and unique business models for his band, 9 Inch Nails. To reach and connect with fans, this case study will explore Reznor's experiments as well as other artists who have followed his lead. We'll be examining all these in the keynote presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the editor of Tech Dirt blog, President CEO, Michael Masnick.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Here we go. By way of introduction, let me get the microphone a little bit better set up there. My name is Mike Masnick. As mentioned, I work for a company named Floor 64. My slide's not advancing here, so there we go. We do something where we help generate insights for all different companies for a variety of different reasons. But I'm probably most well known for writing for the blog Tech Dirt, which looks something like this. I often write about the music industry, and specifically have written a lot about Trent Reznor and the various business model experiments that he's done over the years. And that led to this presentation called How Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails Represent the Future of the Music Business. I first presented a version of this presentation at MedemNet in January, and that got a little bit of attention online. Here at the Leadership Music Digital Summit, there's some good news if you happen to have seen that presentation or if you haven't. That presentation was only 15 minutes long. It was only 280 slides. In this case, they gave me 25 minutes, which meant I could add an extra 160 slides. So it's 440 slides. So I figured it's early in the morning and we want to keep everyone awake. So if I keep going at a fast enough pace, it'll keep your attention. And don't worry, we've already gone through 25. So I assume most of you are counting. So anyway, so as I said, this is the extended and hopefully improved version of that presentation, How Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails Represent the Future of the Music Business. The extended and enhanced part of that presentation gets cut off a little bit at the bottom, sorry about that, is how other musicians are making this work as well, because that's one of the big questions that was raised from the original presentation. All right, let me get started into the meat of the presentation. Chapter 1, whether it was on purpose or not, and I honestly have no idea how well thought out it was originally. I think these days it's definitely being carefully thought out. Trent Reznor seems to have figured out the secret behind successful music business models these days. And it starts out with something that I refer to as CWF. That stands for Connect with Fans. You add to that RTB, a reason to buy. You put that together and you have the business model. Wow, that sounds really, really simple, right? Connect with fans, give them a reason to buy. But the most interesting and amazing thing is how difficult this has been for so many folks in the recording industry, and how many different ways and how many interesting ways Trent Reznor has shown ways to make this actually work. And it started even back when he was signed to a major record label. He was using this very model to do some interesting and different things. It started with the album Year Zero, which was released in 2007, still on a major record label. For the launch, he connected with fans by setting up an internet scavenger hunt, or what's referred to as an alternative reality game. It actually started based on the concert t-shirt that he had from his 2007 tour. It's really difficult to see, but some of the letters in the cities are highlighted. And if you take the highlighted letters and spell them out, it reads, I am trying to believe, and someone got the t-shirt, figured that out, and added a little .com to the end, and went to IamTryingToBelieve.com and got sucked into this really fun and interesting alternative reality game. And it was a way of enhancing the overall experience and connecting with the fans beyond just the music. And it did so in a way that really got fans engaged and energized and excited about the music and everything having to do with 9 Inch Nails. And it made everyone happy, except actually for his record label. And that's because part of what he was doing was he took music from the new album, put it on a USB key, and then dropped it in the bathrooms of the various concerts that he was playing. So fans would walk into the bathrooms and they would find these USB keys. They would take them home, stick them in their computer, and they would get new music leaked by Trent Reznor himself, effectively. And of course, then they would go and share it online. And what happened was those fans were certainly much more engaged and energized and excited about all the music, but unfortunately it upset, I guess, our sponsors, the RIIA, so I apologize for that. But they sent takedown notices to the folks who had shared the music that Reznor himself had leaked. Takedown notices are not connecting with fans. It's actually about limiting and annoying those fans. But Trent Reznor focused on still giving people a reason to buy. When they released the actual physical CD, there was a neat little gimmick, which was that when you put it into the CD player and it would get warm, it would change colors. That's a little bit of a gimmick, but it's something that's neat, and you can't duplicate changing colors with an MP3. It actually gives people a real reason to buy the physical CD. All right, that was chapter 1. Chapter 2, after the year 0, he was no longer on a major record label, so he had entered what is supposedly the vast wasteland of the music business. But it wasn't a problem for him because he knew how to connect with fans, give them a reason to buy, and it started with the album he released about a year ago called Ghosts 1 through 4. He connected with fans by giving them different options in terms of how they could interact with him and the music, and he gave them a reason to buy by actually adding value beyond just the music. I'll run through sort of some of what he did here. It started with a free download. The entire album had 36 tracks on it, but the first 9 you could download directly for free, high quality, no DRM. All 36 tracks were actually put under a Creative Commons license, which let you share them, which meant that once you got them, you were actually perfectly legal in putting them online on file sharing networks, and people could download them perfectly legally. But if you want to get all 36 tracks directly from his site, he asked you for $5. It's effectively a donation, but $5 for 36 tracks is certainly a lot better than $1 per track. That seems that some people think it needs to be the standard price these days. He also offered a $10 where you could get the physical CD. It's actually 2 CDs. That's also a pretty good price. None of this is nice. None of it is all that different. There are lots of bands certainly that offer free downloads or cheap downloads and cheap CDs. But then it started to get interesting. He offered a $75 option, the deluxe edition package. It looked something like this. It was effectively a box set, but around a single album. It included the 2 CDs, also a DVD and a Blu-ray and a nice booklet with lots of nice pictures. But the most interesting of all was the last option. This was the $300 Ultra Deluxe limited edition package, which I think has the best name ever. If you probably can't really see it, but it actually says it's sold out here. This is what it originally said. You don't need to read it. This is what it looked like. It was basically more stuff, included vinyl and some nice images. But the most interesting thing was that there were only 2,500 of them, and they were all personally signed by Trent Reznor. And the whole package, again, cost $300. So this made it special, it made it unique, and it really added value beyond just the music. And of those 2,500, perhaps not surprisingly, they sold out. But what was most interesting was how quickly they sold out, and it was less than 30 hours. So basically, just over a day, he sold out of all of these. And if you're doing the math in your head, and I recognize it's early, so maybe I'll give you a second, but it was $750,000 gross that he made in about 30 hours. Again, this was music that he was giving away for free with a Creative Commons license. If you add up all the other options that I showed, in the first week alone, he brought in $1.6 million, again, while giving away the music without any record label, but connecting with fans and giving them a reason to buy. And even then, even though the music was free and legally free, this is the Amazon.com download best-selling albums of 2008. At the top of the list, you'll see Ghosts 1 through 4. So let's just recap for a second. He's giving away the music for free. In 1 week, he brought in $1.6 million. Throughout the rest of the year, it was the best-selling download album of the year. Hopefully at this point you realize that price is not the issue. If price goes to 0 of the music, that's not the end of the business model. It's not anything necessarily to worry about. In fact, it can actually be the beginning of a very interesting and unique business model.